Hello everyone! So today I have these gorgeous pan-fried Shanghai dumplings for you, and I first had them when I was in Shanghai, and they are usually made in these big cast iron pots, so you get a nice crunchy top to them, and you can see that they're like part bao and part dumpling, so it's a really amazing snack. So I hope you all enjoy the recipe. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the dough first, really easy. I have a half a teaspoon of instant yeast that I'm going to mix with a little less than a half a cup of warm water, and then get that dissolved before I put in 1 2/3 of a cup of flour. Now, this dough does tend to run drier, so depending on kind of how it looks, this should be about how it looks. You might want to add in either a little bit more water or a little bit more flour to that, and then mix this on about medium speed for, I would say, like 4 to 5 minutes until the sides are clean and then the dough ball starts looking smooth. So I'm just going to put it out onto the work surface, and I don't really need flour at all because, again, this thing is pretty dry, and I'm just going to knead it in my hands for about a minute just until I get a nice smooth dough ball, after which it goes into a bowl and then someplace warm for 1 to 2 hours or until it doubles in size. So in the meantime, you are going to prepare the filling. So I have about 1 cup of very finely diced eggplant that I've salted for about an hour first. And then I'm just cooking this over medium-high heat, 3 to 4 minutes, just until the eggplants soften and I lose some of that moisture. I'm adding a half a cup of shiitake mushrooms that I have very finely diced, and those are the rehydrated ones, along with a half a cup of very finely diced scallions, and then in go the eggplant. So I really wanted this filling to be very meaty, and obviously without having to add meat. And mushrooms and eggplants are some of the best meat substitutes. So just kind of mix all of that around before we add our flavoring ingredients. So I'm going to add in the usual kitchen pantry items. So that's some light soy sauce. I have a tablespoon of oyster sauce. I'm going to do a little bit of sugar, sesame oil, some grated ginger, and then I forgot to add in a little bit of vinegar. So that's going to go in as well. You're going to mix all of that together and then put it to the side. So now comes the dough ball. It hasn't expanded too much, but it's actually been fermenting for about 2 hours. So I'm going to just knead it to get it smooth again, and then roll it into a log and then divide it up into 12 pieces. So now I'm just going to casually roll each of the pieces into a ball. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? And then I'm patting it down with my hands so that I start off with a disc so that it is easier to roll later. You guys see that this is a pretty well floured surface, so don't worry about adding too much flour. I mean, you can always brush it off, but make sure that nothing is sticking to the actual stick. So what I'm actually doing now is I'm just rolling the disc out into a bigger circle first, and then focusing kind of that last action on making the edges thinner than the center. And in total, the dumpling wrapper should be about, I would say, 5 inches long in diameter, so they're fairly big pieces, okay? So what I'm gonna do for the filling, it's going to be about 1 tablespoon. And again, if you're not too comfortable with it, start off with something smaller. And I'm essentially going to make an accordion shape around the dumpling, and each fold is, I would say, like about an inch or so wide, and I fold it, maybe like 8-9 times. And somewhere towards the end, you want to keep your thumb in there, and then that final kind of grab seals the whole dumpling, and then you give it like a small twist and you kind of readjust it for the shape afterwards. But it definitely takes some practice, so don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. Okay, so now it's time for the frying. I have between 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil that I'm heating over medium-high heat, and I actually put them seam side down first. I know that some people do it the opposite way, but I find that it's so much prettier that way, that the pleats are actually going to be the crunchy parts and they're going to be browned, and it's just a lot prettier that way. So just put them all in like that, and I would say after like about 3 minutes or so, you start seeing that they develop this nice dark golden crunch onto the bottom. So right now I have about three tablespoons of water that I've just put in, and again medium high, and you are going to steam these guys for right around 5 minutes because the rest of the bao, the rest of the dumpling, needs to cook. So you can see right now everything is basically done, and I'm just opening up the lid so that the rest of the water can evaporate. I would continue pan frying for about another 2 to 3 minutes up until the water all evaporates and you start developing that crunch on the bottom again. There you guys go. Don't these look absolutely amazing? I mean, I love that they're crunchy up top. I'm just topping it with some scallions and then also some toasted black sesame for color. And I usually serve them with a side of soy sauce mixed with some vinegar. I find that the vinegar really lifts up all of the flavors. But I have to tell you, these are an amazing dumpling because it's like thick. The wrappers are thick on the outside because it is like a bao, it is like bread. So it's a lot more hearty. And then inside you get that lovely kind of meaty filling that we filled with shiitake mushrooms. And then obviously some of the eggplants as well. And it is so yummy. Check that out. You see how like thick that kind of bready coating is? And it's all the better because you have that nice crunchy top to it. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed these Shanghainese pan-fried dumplings. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!